Hello YouTube and welcome to a new comic book review. Now I'm going to switch this up a little bit. I've been trying to do like a comic book review every week, but it hasn't worked out perfectly. So there's been a couple of weeks in there where I missed one or something. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to try to stay on track with that. Now I don't want to just keep it strictly a review anymore. I think the better thing for me to do would be to like make it like a review slash pick of the week. If I have time to sit here and talk about it for 5 or 10 minutes, like I definitely will. If not, I'll kind of just say, hey, this is my pick of the week. This is why, this is my star rating, and move on from there. So, anyways, I do have time to sit down and review this book today, so I'm happy to do so. And this week, for my brand new comic book review slash pick of the week, for the week of August 23rd, 2017, I picked Hi-Fi Fight Club #1. So this was by, I think this was it. No, this is a Boombox book. So Boom Studios, yes, imprint, something like that. Anyways, so Hi-Fi Fight Club #1, Boom Studios, Boombox. I think it's Boom Studios. Who knows? Anyways, I didn't do much research on the artist or writer. I think there's one writer and like a few artists. Either way, this book starts out with this girl here named Chris. Chris is like new at her job at Vinyl. I think it's Vinyl Mayhem. I don't know, something like that. It's a record shop. So she's just started at this record shop a little while ago. The record shop, I think it takes place, I don't remember explicitly reading that it takes place in 1998, but I think I remember hearing that in the solicits or something. So either way, it takes place in 98. Don't know if the book says that or not, but it does. So this is when this kind of stuff still would happen. Now you wouldn't really have, if you had a vinyl shop, it would be like an owner-operator thing. Probably just one person working there, but here, you've got a crew of people. It's back in the late 90s. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming they probably sold like CDs and stuff too. But either way, this is like, it's set up kind of like Empire Records, like in the sense like you've got this big music shop. People frequent there. People are actively buying stuff there. And they have like an ensemble of employees. These are all the regular employees, and then there's like a boss who's... these are all like younger kids. Like I believe they're like... I can't remember how old the main character Chris is, but I seem to think she's like 16 or 17. And then maybe the other girls are like 18, and then the boss is like 24. And you know that because Chris really admires the boss, and she's like, I want to be like that when I'm an adult. And I'm like, you're a couple of years away from her. What are you talking about? But whatever. Either way, it takes place like you're following Chris to work. She runs into this girl, which I think her name is Maggie. Yeah, I think it's Maggie. She's got a big crush on Maggie, but Maggie doesn't know that. She's not too sure if Maggie is into girls or not, so she hasn't really said anything. But she kind of, gets like clumsy and nervous around her and stuff like that. And then so you're just getting introduced to like this cast of characters. This girl's name is Irene, maybe, and she's like, her thing is like she's a big music encyclopedia. She knows everything apparently. And then this girl is a goth girl, and her name is, I think it's the letter D. I don't know. The names didn't stick with me too well, other than Chris. But either way. The goth girl doesn't really like Chris. Seemed like Chris was okay with her, but not the other way around. So they're like nemesis or rivals or something. So that kind of paints the picture as to, the cast and what's going on there. So really we don't get a lot of action in this first issue. It's just kind of setting up the characters, their quirks and things like that, their dialogue, and then towards I guess it's a little past the middle of the book. Chris goes to leave for the night. She's told by her manager to go ahead and go home. everybody else is sticking behind. They have some, you know, little task to do and stuff. And as she's walking out, she sees two of the girls like beating up a box, and she's like, what's going on there? And they're like, oh, nothing, everything's cool. We just are, you know, beating up this box. She's like, okay, whatever, and goes home. You know, returns to work the next day or whatever, and there's supposed to be like an in-store concert by some band. I think it's maybe the singer. I don't know if they say, but one of the people from the band is not there. Gory Rory or something. Fun name. Is missing. So the girls band together and they're like, all right, we're going to do something about this. They kick everybody out of the store and they say, we're going to fix this. And Chris is like, what the heck is going on? And that's when, you know, she's told, we have a fight club that we do when you're not around, and now you're part of it. And, you know, it kind of ends with that. Like, we're going to do something about this, like, you know, cliffhanger and end of the issue. So, I'm going to go ahead and say this. This isn't targeted towards me, obviously. This is, like, for younger readers, and sorry about that there. My camera messed up for a sec, so I have to merge the two videos together, so either way, you don't care about that. So anyways, yes, this is not targeted really specifically towards me or my demographic or whatever. I'm like an old man reading kids comics, but I like this a lot. It's not that I love the story, but it's that I love everything else that's going on. This is almost the exact same way that I write when I write. Like, I see like the extreme of you know, character development and character writing and stuff in a lot of stuff that I read, where you either have this character that has so much history and background, and you feel that when you're introduced to them and stuff, or they're like a blank slate and you're really thinking like the writer didn't take any time to flesh this character out. And of course, yes, we're going to do that over the next 12 or 24 or 100 issues or whatever, but it seems like they started off completely blank, and I don't like that. So when I write just like this writer does. I take my character and I give them like a weird quirk or two, and I exploit that. You know, like I use that to my advantage. So, you know, I may take a character. I'm writing something right now, you know, that has to do with a guy who's really into Elvis. He's a younger guy, and he's not trying to, you know, he's still modern or whatever, but he's really into Elvis. So that's like a quirk that I take that, you know, and exploit in my story writing. And I feel like, you know, this is kind of done the same way. I mean, maybe not to the same extreme as me, but you have these characters and they're like, hey, this is what this one's really about. This is what this one's really about. This girl's really about this. This one's... So I just felt, you know, like we had a similar style or whatever. Now, as far as like the density of the story goes, there's not a whole lot going on here, but I do understand why. You have this cast of like 4 girls, and you have some secondary characters you needed to introduce, and, you know, there's not a lot of backstory you can cram into these pages, and I get that. And they did a fine job. If we were, you know, made... I don't know how to explain it. If what happens in the end, you know, maybe could have stretched out a little bit longer, or, you know, began a little sooner and not been so cliffhangery, like, I would have been more satisfied with that. But I do understand why they did it. I understand how that works. You definitely want somebody to put this issue down and then say, well, what's going to happen next month, you know, and go buy the next one. So I get that. But what I was really, really pleased about with this book was the artwork. I love this artwork. I'm not saying, you know, these artists are the most talented in the world or anything, but this is just like, this is my style all the way. It just is artwork that I really enjoy. It's, I don't know what about it, because there's some other weird stuff like this that I enjoy too, that's not, you know, usually in like your typical like superhero books or whatever. I see that it has like some kind of like a manga style or something in it too, like with stuff like that. maybe like that panel there. But I just really like this artwork. Like, it's nice and clean. Like, it looks modern. Like, it just looks good to me. I don't know. It's very good artwork in my opinion. I really like it. So I felt the same way about the Go-Go Power Rangers. Actually, this might be comparable to that, in quality. Like, I loved the storyline of that. I loved the characters and the artwork. So definitely, give this book a shot. Like, it's pretty interesting. It might not be directed at you. It might not be necessarily for you, and you might say, this is, kind of out of my league or whatever. But it's a late 90s. It's based in the late 90s. And maybe just look at it as like a, Empire Records type of deal or something. Of course, it's different than that. It's got its own thing going on, but like, it's got that ensemble cast. It's got that time period. Like, it's kind of, it's a little familiar, especially if you're like, grew up in the 90s like I did. So for a star rating, I'll give the book overall 4 out of 5 stars. For the writing and story, I'll give it 4 stars, and then for the art, I'll definitely give it 5 stars. It's really good art. I like it a lot. So that's it. That's my review for Hi-Fi Fight Club #1. And this is my pick of the week for August 23rd, 2017. So check this book out. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. If you agree or disagree. If you guys have a book, that you want me to review or anything next week, please list that in the comments below too. I would like to start, doing some stuff that other people wanted reviews of or whatever. So let me know. And yeah, that's it. That's Hi-Fi Fight Club #1. This is my new little series here, my review / pick of the weeks. So let me know how you guys feel about that. And thank you so much for watching.